Yeah, I don't recognize.
I'm guessing these are, I mean, there's no date on them,
Yeah, you guys
but I bet you these are,
put candy in it.
80s?
well, the bridge was relocated there in the,
90s. Okay, so it
so I'm betting these are from that time.
from that era.
Probably when they had a fundraiser to move it.
Well, have you seen that bridge?
Anyway, but I get tremendous headaches too, so I got appointments to get the looked at or pulled. But I had it filled in the last few months. I don't know what's wrong. Anyway,
Oh,
and then the other thing is, if it's not my tooth, then it's gotta be my hard. But they're red all the time. I get really, really, really bad headaches, and I never get headaches. And, anyway, so I don't look at how red they are today. My goodness. I don't know what else to do.
huh.
Wait for it to get uploaded. And that can be.
It doesn't feel like it's a fall
Because
allergy.
she'll upload it.
Oh, I never get headaches, never had them ever. So it's a unique thing for me.
Darn.
The live-
Hello, how are you?
No, because it's on Teams, and then we save it to YouTube. We don't live stream for
Oh, you're
YouTube.
not live streaming for YouTube?
No,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
The recording initially saves to SharePoint.
it's on Teams.
It saves
Well,
on Teams.
And Deborah's supposed to be zooming in with us.
Microsoft
Everyone's
SharePoint.
Supposed to be Deb to have a quorum because Bob and Wally are at medical appointments, according to his text, so.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, guys, how's it
We're waiting for
going?
Deborah to log on, otherwise. we
Greg, you
won't.
hear us?
So,
Can you hear me?
You're alive. Glad to see you.
Barely.
Barely. I'm sorry, man.
Sick?
There was a day or two I was not good.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, I'm glad to see you upright.
You, me, both.
We hired, I think the hiring, I mean.
That's. Angela, did Larry get his pie thing in?
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. that was it. Oh, yeah.
Not early on.
Right.
Hey. Oh, we do have to,
Double check. if
it's our
you can
last
check
meeting
them or
before the
something.
harvest fair, so we just need, it's not on here, but we need to like, okay, what time are we meeting, et cetera, et cetera. We need to come up with that.
Greg, we're just waiting on Deborah because we won't have a quorum if she doesn't log in. She's supposed to log in, so.
All right. No harm, no hurt here. I only have 300 some emails to go through.
Angela, one thing that also need to do is harvest fair. Have it on the agenda.
There's no change. I will send out.
Oh, okay. Like what time we start
I will-
oh, okay. So we don't have to coordinate anything here. Okay, well, that's. Okay. Okay.
I
Well-
think it's pretty much.
Okay.
She doesn't get paid for.
You know, we don't get paid overtime, right?
I was here at 5:30 this morning. I got all of the bathrooms ordered, all the tents ordered, I got all the signs, so now I'm concentrating on that.
Okay. Do we have any pies yet?
Deborah, we're waiting for you.
Says click here to join the meeting, but it's not joining the meeting.
Here, I'll let Angela walk you through it.
Well, That's, she.
You wanna-
can't do it. That was just the information. She can't, she has to go through Teams.
Excuse me.
Okay,
I'm on Teams. Microsoft Teams.
Does it have a microphone?
what? Ashley.
Okay, so it shows that you didn't ever accept it as a meeting when I sent out the invites. Let me try to forward this to you again, so you'll have to check your email here in just a second. Okay, I just sent it to you again, the invite. So you should get an invite on your email and you'll want to accept it. I think so, yes. I don't know. I can't see what you see, so I don't know.
I did mine on my phone.
Do a browser,
Browser.
hit browser. No, you don't need. I mean, if you want to, but you don't have to.
She can just talk.
Yep. Nope.
Nope.
Or
Send him home.
She can join from the website
Yeah,
if you
live
put the
stuff.
button on.
What?
If you put the link on our website to the button,
It should be.
Should be on there.
so.
Live
my-
Yeah, did you ever go to the website, our website instead? www.sweethomeor.gov.
if she could just talk.
OR. .gov.
They do the same thing.
I know.
Okay, so
Same thing with me.
just type in Sweet Home OR, all one word, .gov.
It's our generation.
I would bring it in and I'll shut
I
everything.
can't ever do this.
All you have to do is hit button.
After me, those cars are there after me.
Okay, then go to how do I?
That way you can drive.
There we go. There we go.
Wait a minute. I might be lying. How does she,
How do I, and then go to live stream or content?
oh,
Yeah.
watch.
Watch a live stream.
Watch a live stream.
Okay, so all the way, so if you go to how do I, and then at the very far left, it says watch a live stream, click on that. We might not have it for Carpenter One. Okay, yeah, then Carpentry Committee. We don't,
to update that.
Yeah.
by the end of the
we
year.
haven't uploaded the link to this apparently.
Just tell her, to-
But I can keep you on the phone.
yeah,
Nancy can keep you on the phone. So.
I'll put her to the
Keep my
microphone.
Microphone
Put
over
it
there.
down, and it's like, turn a mic on and just point it right down at the phone. There you go.
Okay, so you're on Nancy's phone.
Thank you.
That'll work.
Well, we'll see. Adam and I will work on making sure the link gets.
Okay. I got a laptop on one side of me and I got the desktop on the other side. I'm just turning around in my chair going back and forth. And this thing's not to work for me.
it's our generation, Deborah.
Oh,
Deborah.
All right, well, we have a quorum now that Deborah's here, so.
Let's do this quorum and say, agent vacancy, get this thing moving.
We're good?
We are here.
Yep,
We have Deborah.
yep.
It's my mic is on. All right, everybody, welcome. We will call our meeting of the City of Sweet Home Parks and Tree Committee to order, and we will start with our pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They've all.
And now we will do the roll call.
I did get emails from Wally and Bob that they would be out today. So Commissioner Betchtel,
Present.
Commissioner Tucker, committee member.
fine.
I'm just upgrading you
I'm
all.
looking around.
Committee
I'll answer.
committee
Present.
member Tucker,
Present.
committee member Patton,
Here.
and committee member Northern.
I'm here.
Sorry. I need more coffee or something, sorry.
Okay, does anybody have any time reports? I did turn in our time report for the health fair. So if anybody has anything since then. If not, we'll move on to our meeting minutes.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. Okay, that's right.
Yes, there's a button on here that when I type them in, if I accidentally hit that button, it doesn't save them once I close down, and that's what I did. And so I have to go back and redo them, so I apologize. But I will get them done and they will be done by the next time. I know better because I've done it before, so.
No problem. We'll pick up our meetings from last month's meeting. I guess at our October meeting. At this time, does anybody have any public comment?
Ash.
Nope. Okay, then we'll move right on to old business. First item is beautification committee update, and I haven't heard anything. And Ashley's saying
Greg's
no.
Shouldn't
Greg's
have
shaking
put
his head
Trump
no.
up front.
And part of that's, I think, when I attended the last time, we already knew kind of what had happened, and
Yeah,
we haven't really completed getting everything out of there. And so I think that's the next thing is what's the date to get the flower pots down and all that, because we got Christmas coming and everything else. So,
so who will
I don't know if we're
set-
behind. My point is what I'm saying is I don't know if we're behind on cleaning out the medians. And so that's the date I think we need to look at right now is what are the last few work dates. And I think it goes into October. Is that about right, Angela? Or used to,
I
something
don't
like
know.
that?
I don't have a schedule for them.
Nancy?
So I'm just raising my hand. Ashley has a schedule in front of her.
Oh, awesome. Good job, Ashley.
Say that again. She says the 24th, Craig.
September
Yes,
for clean out.
she believes so, yes.
Thank you.
Last week
Onward.
they went to Clover Park and cleaned that up.
Yeah, I noticed Clover
It looks nice.
is looking good. Is there any, who's, I guess, coordinating the beautification with Patty kind of out of the pic-
Candy Snyder.
Candy Snyder?
And
I think we
usually
discussed that
Bob
last meeting.
updates too,
And
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, but for now, we think the 24th is the final cleanup of the medians. Okay, that's good. September 24th.
And they could still use more help. When I drop Ashley off, there's like 5 of them.
Well, let's see what that looks like with your volunteers. If you guys can convey to me when we get into that last day, maybe I can put a couple more boots on the ground for a couple hours and help out some.
Because you'll have staff there anyway, Greg, right? To block
Yeah, just
off
add a couple more. We're already doing traffic control, and we'll just maybe make it go a little quicker or something. We'll talk with Dominic.
Okay. Okay, so put the word out. If folks want to help tidy up the medians and put them to bed for winter next Tuesday.
I have one more question regarding just the medians beautification. And Lean, it's a question for you. Last time I come through, you get the late of the year and the plants are starting to grow up over our current permanent vegetation. Last year, because our foliage was smaller, we got some damage on plants. And so when we clean it out this year, I just want to evaluate that again.
Yep.
Because we spent a lot of money for our medians.
Yep.
And I don't want to put things and have plants that are dead halfway up because they've had too much moisture on them with no sunlight and they've rotted. And that's kind of what I think's happening. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I just don't, everything looks good above the line. I don't know what it's going to look like under that line. And so if we get some of those conditions again, we may have to replace, but maybe we want to rethink next year that. So anyway.
Yeah,
That's-
it could
that's all
be
I
a
have to say.
matter of just reducing the amount of annual flowers, just because those things are very vigorous.
They take over, yes, for
Mhm.
sure.
They do,
So-
they do. So maybe a reduction in that. But yeah, we can take a look as we clean out the petunias. A lot of the newer heather is pretty robust, and I mean, I can see it as we drive through. So maybe we're okay there with most of our plants. But
Okay.
we can look as we get it opened up.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Oh, we see you, Deborah.
Okay, Miss Day, I can see me.
Okay, turn off your phone. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it off the phone. Bye.
You shut the phone off.
Okay, you're on the screen now.
Okay.
Where?
The blinking.
You have no camera, but you have the mic.
Oh, okay.
All right. Welcome, Deborah. All right. Moving on to our next item, committee shirts.
Yay.
Nancy?
Well, so we had a discussion and went and looked at the budget. We do not have a budget right now to buy more shirts.
Okay.
So
How much did you find out they were?
I'll have to go back and look.
Because I would just.
I
maybe
ordered
challenge-
these, so I'll have to go look at what his invoice was for his shirts.
Challenge all of us on the committee. I mean, I'll be willing to buy my own, and if I need to buy somebody else's for them, I'll be happy to do.
Okay.
I mean, mine has got bleach. I mean, you don't want me wearing that out in public.
I will look up cost for like the type that I bought Ray was kind of more that sporty material.
Yes, we like that.
Yeah. And I'll look up a couple costs for that. So
I know they had a huge sale on it, Old Navy, that we could have had you guys have the logos put on or whatever, but I still do.
Well, in the meantime, we still have our windbreakers, our
Right.
jackets.
I'll be
So
wearing that.
if it's as it starts getting chilly, so
Okay.
I'll do that. I'll find that invoice and I'll let you guys know how much those were.
42nd and Osage, a new park update.
So we had a discussion about the 42nd and Osage. It's kind of on hold. We've got to figure out the funding for the infrastructure part of it before we can put a playground in. So which also includes street improvements for that. So that's where we're kind of in a holding pattern right now because we have to do the street improvements as well as the sidewalks, water, utilities to the bathrooms. So that all has to be done before a playground can go in. So we're still working out the funding portion of it for that. So it isn't off the list. It just may take a little bit longer than what we had planned.
And the funding for the equipment, that was all grant?
No,
Oh.
we were going to pay for it. So,
Oh, okay.
however, Game Time does do a grant in the fall where
Okay.
they do a match for playground equipment.
Mhm.
So it kind of just depends on when we decide to apply for it. So
Never lied twice now.
Deborah, we have you on both your devices.
We see what you're doing.
Now okay, I'll put my camera on in a minute. I couldn't hear you on the laptop.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, I can see you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. We're gonna have a new council and you're probably gonna have to wait to see what they do. And I'm gonna tell you, my personal feel is that they're not gonna let you. So that's my opinion.
Not gonna let you what? Oh. Okay.
Okay, so
That-
I
that
mean,
may come up and maybe come to a head because that park is listed in the Parks Master, the park
Yeah.
system plan. So if that plan is adopted as currently written, then it would be adopted as that's the plan that's eligible for
for a park.
city funding and other whatever funding we can find to do it. I think that finding the funding is probably the bigger problem. But that, and that's skipping ahead a little bit, but just, we'll talk about this more later in the meeting, but we're moving toward having the parks system plan adopted. And that process is actually starting this week with the planning commission, and then we'll go to the council October 8th.
Yeah, tomorrow night, because we talked about that last
Yeah.
time that we should go.
But we'll get to that in a
Okay.
couple minutes when we get to that point of the meeting.
Okay, so for now, 42nd Osage is kind of in a holding pattern. I do agree it's important to update, improve, add, develop your infrastructure before you start placement of the park on the ground. So that makes sense to me. Part of the planning process. Okay. Moving on to Sankey Park Phase 3 update.
We met with the engineering firm that's been selected to do the engineering design of the trails going up the hillside. Met with them last week or the week before, and they're hard at work. We expect to have a 30% plan from them. They said early October, I think, didn't they? So, and the plan is for their design to be completed essentially by the end of the year so that we can then put out the RFP
Okay.
early 2025. And so far things are looking good. We've talked with them about some modifications from the original concept plan that are kind of done in the interest of making it affordable.
Mhm.
And so, but the ultimate goal is still to have an ADA accessible path going up that hillside
Mhm.
and to have the completed sidewalk on the street next to Sankey Park. So those will all be included. And then we're trying to plan for the future of whatever goes in the place of if in someday in the future we have a funding for the bandstand, there is a space planned for that where it could basically be plugged in.
Mhm. Well, that's exciting to kind of start seeing our plan for the trail system and everything come to life. So
Yeah. As soon as we have something more closer to what we'll put out, we'll have a copy for
Okay.
you at a future meeting.
fantastic.
So I just wanted to add, so I know everybody's seen the area that where Lebanon has over in that park by the hospital. What's that park called?
I don't know what's called.
Anyway,
Driven by it.
so
Dr. Gerard or
so it's
Thomas. Thaddeus
No, I know-
Nelson?
so if you go on Highway 20 and they have concerts and stuff there all the time. So I mean, I know we've talked a million
Cheetah
times.
Lake.
Huh?
No, it's right along Main Street, isn't it?
Yeah,
So you
it's
cro-
on Main, right before you get to the hospital.
There's like a
on the-
gazebo there. and-
Yes,
And they have
that's
a
it.
concert series or something.
So
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that, how simple that would be to make something like that. I mean, I know we've talked
Well, and
about
I think
a
what
million times, but
I think what we've talked about for replacing the bandstand is not overly extravagant. It
Mhm.
would be a fairly simple structure also. And the unfortunate reality is that you still do need to have a foundation and it still
Right.
needs to meet, the proper engineering standards for a commercial structure, which unfortunately are not cheap. But,
Right.
but yeah, I would love to see something like that. And the plan that we're talking about, there is a space where something could be placed, but it would require its own engineered design.
And I will be, so it's on my list, and granted, right now, it's not at the top of my list, but to talk with there's a local woodworkers guild. It's not exactly, I can't remember their exact name, but they also, not only do they do structures like that, but they also have their own internal engineering. And so, like I said, it is on my list to have a conversation with them to see what they could do for us when it comes to the bandstand and what all of their what all they do, if they do the foundation, but we also have, some possible concrete connections. And
Knife
so
River.
being able to work with all of them, it's just a matter of, we have a lot of other tasks that have to go before that right now. And so that's where it's at. But it is on my list to have a conversation and a meeting with them to discuss what they could provide possibly.
Very cool.
Anything else on Sankey?
Yeah.
So are we gonna still have our jar at the Harvest Festival? Okay,
I hope so. We definitely need the money.
fill it up.
Now, do you want to do the jar? So we have a city table, information table, and it might have more room to put it on the city table and not at the pie contest. Thoughts about that? Because I have the jar still with all that stuff on it. I didn't take it all off, so.
I wanted to tell you, I got another jar just like that. If you,
So,
if we want 2 jars ever floating
because
around.
I know you guys, it gets kind of, you guys get a lot, don't have a lot of space over there. So I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to do it on the city table, or if you want to keep it over there by the pie.
I would love to have it be as easy as possible for people to give us money
Right.
Yeah,
and as many reminders as possible that we want them to give us money.
yeah.
Do we have more people coming to buy pie or eat pie, or do we have more people going to your table, city table? Who knows, huh?
If you have the room and if you don't mind, I see nothing wrong with having 2 jars.
Yeah, I got one at a yard sale. I was just stoked about it.
I think since we're going to be close to the bridge, is that where you're putting us this year, Angela?
But so far, yes.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it would make sense. I think it would probably make sense front and center to have our jar, have some park brochures there, just kind of
Okay.
give us a little bit of identity.
Okay. And Nancy, if you want to bring the other jar in, then
I
I
will.
can laminate some stuff and stick it on that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we could have a jar at the city table and a jar by the bridge. All right. So speaking of the bridge, Weddell Bridge update.
So Lynn County, the gentleman. was-
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Kevin Groom.
Yes. We met with, was he the bridge expert or is he?
I don't recall what his actual position with Lynn County is, but he had a lot of experience with.
Yeah, with bridges
with
and-
especially the Shamanic Bridge.
And so he gave us some pointers on, just some avenues to do some fundraising, and I'm going to look into that. I think we talked about it at the last meeting. I'm going to have a conversation with Mill City. They did a very successful bridge campaign. For the time being, though, we do have a grant from the Community Foundation, and so we are going to get started on some of the minor, structural stuff underneath to see what we can get done. He also sent us a list. I sent him the engineer's report and asked him to take a look at it and kind of give us a order so that we're not doing tasks and then having to rip them back out because there's tasks that we should have done first. And so,
Okay.
So we will be working on that in this coming year. But we did get money from the Community Foundation to add to some funding that we have just to get started. It's not going to even remotely cover what needs to get done, but it'll at least get us started. So
It's and if you've ever looked into what is involved in the engineering of a covered bridge, it's not what I thought, because I look at it and I think, oh, it looks like a house that they stuck over a river, but the way weight is handled and the bottom is not necessarily the structure, it's more of the roof and everything kind of hanging from it, which makes it kind of awkward to what do you repair when and in what order. And none of us are specialists or engineers enough to know that. So we're trying to be careful to make sure we use money properly and don't have to redo things later. It's different.
So Angela, when you said Mill City, how much money did they earn for their bridge?
I don't know. I haven't talked to them yet. He just recommended it because he said they had a really successful campaign for their bridge. And so when Harvest Festival is over, I have a task list after Harvest Festival. So I will be reaching out to them just to have a conversation, see what they did, how much money they were able to raise, how much they needed.
Yeah.
So that's one of my tasks.
He said it was very much a community-led
Yeah.
thing. It wasn't the success of that campaign was not because of the city. It was because of how it really grassroots
People.
community members getting involved and getting it done.
I always go back to when Bucks told me that they're interested in helping with the bridge. That'd be good.
Yep.
So back to the coffee mugs that
Yeah.
show the bridge. How many do you have? Are they?
There were.
Two bigger boxes. I
boxes.
don't know. I haven't.
We
I don't
haven't
know how
actually
many
done
are
a
in each.
full count, and we can take care of that. But there's enough that, frankly, if we want to, again, and this is just speaking for myself. I haven't talked with anybody on staff about it, but there's no clear. It's not like this is tagged inventory of the city or
Yeah.
anything. This has all just been sitting in storage, and so, as far as I'm aware, it's fair game for anything that the city wants to do with it.
I'll be happy to take them and fill them with little kisses or something and get that saran wrap stuff and
Right. I mean, if we want to have
Nice
a bunch of
to
those
know
on
it.
hand and say, we're giving one of those away with a donation of at least such and such an amount, why not?
Is it
We've got them.
something we can manage at the?
I
Pie
need to do
contest?
it
I mean-
in advance.
Well, no, I'm just saying, we're so
Oh.
busy with the pie. Do we want to try to
Well,
throw those in
we have
or?
2 jars. We're gonna have 2 money jars, so wherever, maybe at the city table would be better.
Well, what I'm thinking is maybe hold on to them for an actual focused event with Weddell Bridge. Like if we do another Bridge Day event where the focus is solely on the bridge, and those could be the donate to the cause and you get a free mug type of item. Since if we have a couple boxes of them, that gives us a head start.
Yeah, and that's one thing, having so much going on at Harvest
Yeah.
Festival, because there's already enough. I mean, granted, it's up to you guys, but I just, depending on how many pies and
Mhm.
all of that, it could get chaotic to add one more task to it. So, I mean, but again, that's up to you guys, whether you want to.
Well, I don't mind filling them with candy and putting this stuff on them. And,
Well, it's just,
you guys would have to, whoever's going to be at your table collecting money in the jar.
Well, that's why, Nancy, if we actually had a focused, not Harvest Fair is big in general, but if we
Right.
had another Bridge Day event like we did we do that last year? I can't remember. We did a Bridge Day event. Then those are kind of, the focused giveaway for a donation type pieces. And then it's not Harvest Festival and pie and all these other things. It's just
Yeah.
a bridge. So if we have them,
I think the only argument in favor of doing it, or the best argument in favor of doing it at Harvest Festival is simply the vast amount of people. It's more people
Thousands
that
of people.
we get
Yeah.
more people in the park at that event than in any other time except for Jamboree.
And we can always order cups later on.
But
There's
it's mainly a
logo on the
manpower
bottom,
issue. If
yeah.
we have the personnel to do it,
not me.
No.
That's the thing is if, I don't know that we would be able to handle it at the city table because we don't have a formal staffing plan
Yeah.
of that kind of thing. But, I mean, we'll have somebody at the city table throughout the day, but adding a piece of inventory is going to make it complicated
Yeah.
there.
The priority at the city table is first aid and lost kids and
Yeah.
emergencies,
Right.
not.
Where's my cell phone?
Right. So if the Park and Tree Committee is willing to take it on, that's fine. We can support you in that, but we just understand that that's another ask, and it's just a matter of what you all feel like you can handle.
I don't care. I'm for it, but just because of all the people that are going to be there, and to me, something like that is not a big task, but it's whatever they all want.
I mean, I think it's a neat idea. I don't want to give them away without a donation.
Right.
And I don't know what the appropriate donation, $10 donation, you get a coffee mug. You guys are saying higher. Okay.
At least to cover the chocolate.
Right.
And since I can't even envision where we're setting up, do we
So
have a
my plan is.
little table?
My plan
I have
is,
one.
sorry, my plan is you're gonna actually be on the plaza. Because the food trucks,
Okay.
Whoops.
yeah, if you want to bring up, actually, I can bring up my map. Well, no, I can't because you're over there. I know, if you show it, I can go point. Okay, here, I'll go point.
Okay.
Only time I remember us getting really busy at the Harvest Festival with the pies is when people are starting to buy them to eat. Right there. Cool.
Okay. Don't want that to be too loud. I'm gonna put you guys right here. Now, here's the only downside to putting you right there. I wanted you where there was more activity, where there was more food. The sun does shine right in there, so just keep that aware. We might not want to put pies on this side. Maybe put pies on the side. I don't know. We'll see when it gets there. But I remember a couple of years ago when we had some food booths there, the sun shone right in it. So
Right.
we can turn it whichever way you want, but I wanted to put you more central. The kid zone is gonna do a mullet contest.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So there's gonna have a lot of activities going on there. So I thought putting you more centrally to the activities is gonna be better. Plus you'll be closer to the food. So if people buy food, then maybe they'll want pie afterwards. So we'll
That's
see.
good.
Okay.
So, but that's a big enough space right there. And there's gonna be some food kind of going around this area. So you'll be right where the rest of
Okay.
it is.
That makes sense.
Right now, that's the tentative plan.
And so we'll have a pop-up canopy, obviously, for the pies
Yep.
and a judge's seating area, kind of like we did last year, kind of
Yep.
back behind. So
Yeah,
if
we have plenty of tents that we'll be setting up and
Okay.
we'll probably set up our tents, since the ones that I order have to be staked into the ground and we can't stake them there. So we'll wait till that morning to put up our 20 by 20s.
Yeah.
So we'll put up a couple of them
Okay.
and we might put the judges more back in the grass.
That's what I was
and
thinking.
then put the
yeah.
actual pie booth up on the plaza itself. So
There's actually a picnic table back
Mhm.
behind there. We could throw a canopy over it and they could
Yes.
just use the picnic table.
so far you have,
We have 5 judges.
That's
yes,
That's where we did the hot dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's exactly how many you have.
Okay.
Wally sent me the list this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5.
Okay. Well, I know we diverged into Harvest Fair
No, that's okay.
slash
Yeah.
Weddell Bridge. So Nancy, if you want to grab maybe grab a box of the mugs if you want to jazz them up. And then we do this. We have the jug donation, the flyers. I can grab some of the flyers out of the box to bring on the Weddell Bridge, and then kind of
And I have a table about this long and it's maybe that wide.
do you think we need another
would be
table
perfect
based on?
for-
That's up to you guys.
I can bring it. It's easy.
Okay.
I mean, we may have extra tables. It all depends on
Yeah.
It all depends on how many chili contestants I get. And
Uh-huh.
then, because that's usually I have to make sure I have enough around there, and then whatever extra we have, we distribute everywhere else. So
Okay.
right now I have plenty, but if you want to bring your table just in case, and then that way just plan on it and then it'll be there if you
Well, I'm
want.
bringing my stuff for the kid store, free kid store anyway. I
Okay.
throw another table in
Okay.
there.
All right, well, let's do that. And we'll do kind of a focused
We'll try it.
table with, it doesn't have to be all your mugs, but just maybe a few of them.
Mhm.
The jugs, some parks brochures, and the Sankey fly or the Weddell Bridge flyers.
I think we can manage it.
I think we should always try.
And if you, I guess we need to decide on the donation amount, and then I can make a
Sign.
little flyer
flyer
or
said-
something.
Yeah, I said 10. I mean, I
I
what-
wouldn't go lower than 20 for
Really, for
a
a
filled mug.
for a donation and a
A
filled mug?
donation.
Okay.
I mean, anytime you see any donation where you actually get some sort of thing associated, I mean, we'll certainly take any number of
Right.
any amount that anybody wants to donate. But anytime there's some sort of swag associated with a donation, I mean, these days it's usually
20.
north of 20.
Easily.
Okay.
That's my point of view.
Okay.
But
Let's do it.
Sold.
all right.
I mean, that is so unique. I mean, I think that's really cool that you found those mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I found that one and they found that.
I like the older
Yeah.
one with the,
Yeah. It looks really great.
yeah.
So maybe afterwards, when we sell all those, we could look, see if that company still, well, you could have anybody make them nowadays.
Yeah. These are made in China.
The mug probably.
Yeah, the mug
wasn't
itself.
meant to do.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have a plan. So Nancy's going to handle the mug
Yeah. I
Swag.
will send out
and you.
a final planning map
Yes.
and a schedule as soon as I've made sure I've gone through everything.
Perfect.
So
And FYI, I won't turn in my receipt, so I'll just donate the candy.
thank you.
Thank you.
So
I'll get a count on the mugs for you.
Okay.
As soon as I can.
I offered to do a Costco run to get surplus pies so
Uh-huh.
we have extra to sell.
Okay.
So you want me to do that? Because you are swamped.
If you don't mind, yeah, and then just
can-
bring me the receipt
I'll
and I
bring you
can.
the receipt.
Okay.
Do you, how many have you purchased before? I can't remember. I know we've served a lot of.
Had extra left over last time. I mean, we were getting rid of them, but
The
still.
big, huge ones,
You know,
well, it
like
kind
the-
of depends on how, it was always dependent on how many like contestants we had.
Yeah, I know.
And so I at least went like 4 of the large ones.
And we can talk like Thursday before and you can tell me how many contestants we have and I can.
And I can tell you, I
Okay.
wish we had more
It should
kids.
probably
We need
be
more
a quick
kids.
Time decision
You need more kids for what?
for pie.
Kids.
I have 9 pies. 2 of those are kids, but I only have 2 kids right now. The rest,
Okay.
one of the pies, I've got to get in touch with them because it's a cheesecake and you can't have a non-perishable. So I need to see if she will switch it out. So,
You can't have a non-perishable?
It has to.
I mean, it has to,
Oh.
be, sorry, I did that backwards. It has to be non-perishable. And
Because
as
we can't keep
far
it,
as I know, cheesecake is not.
you can't keep it refrigerated.
No.
Okay.
So technically, we may have 8, but if she
Okay.
chooses
Well,
another.
we'll just talk,
So
But
what-
typically, I always have people sign up right at the last minute.
I
so
know,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, when's your deadline for the pies? For the
Usually
kids?
that Wednesday before.
Okay,
I haven't really put that out yet because I usually wait.
we can look into that through the charter school.
Yeah, it's fun when we get more kids.
I
Yeah,
talked to my kids about it.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
are we still talking in the Weddell Bridge update here?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's become
Okay.
Weddell, sorry.
It got
it's
derailed
become
into Harvest Festival.
Weddell Bridge fundraising, sitting next to it selling pie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ice cream man.
Oh, ice
Talking
cream.
about ice and ice.
That's
cream,
right. We talked about ice cream, but the ice cream man
doesn't come
can't.
anymore.
No, he won't.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to pay for the temporary restaurant license that it would take for him to be there.
Only thing we could do is get Umpqua or whatever's, get a good discount from Thriftway or something and do it ourselves, but,
Mm.
because we have,
But then we'd have to have a refrigeration somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before you do that, contact Lynn County Health, because the rules change when you have ice cream.
okay, forget it.
Yeah. I think we can manage.
Send them to Dairy Queen.
And our benevolent restaurant license only covers like for the chili feed, I can only have 3 ounces. That's what our sample cups. So
Okay.
it's very strict on what our restaurant license covers for the contest. So
Okay.
it would have to be something totally different.
But we've never had issues just
Nope.
cutting and serving a slice of
No,
pie.
they came the first year we did it and inspected all that we did, and they said that it's covered under our
Okay.
license. So
Okay,
No ice cream.
Unless
Give 'em
it's
a side of
prepackaged.
cheese.
like ice
If
cream
we-
bars, you mean?
Yeah, if you had like prepackaged stuff, you could.
but you still
You
have to
could
keep it cold.
The refrigeration.
Right, if you could keep it cold, I'm just saying you wouldn't need the,
It has to be inspected.
prepackaged stuff needs to be inspected.
To keep it the right temperature.
Oh, they're. for-
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Dry ice in an ice chest would keep it.
Sorry.
all right.
That's
That's just one more thing.
that's just one more
One
thing.
more thing.
Man, just trying to be healthy is so,
Sorry.
trying to be healthy with our junk food.
We, yeah, we do, I mean, we do pretty good with the pie. I mean, we've always pretty much sold everything out, so, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that was the combined Weddle Bridge /
I'm turning my
Harvest
phone
Fair
off.
/
Sorry.
fundraising. All right. Any other old business before we move on to new?
So just tomorrow night, we're supposed to go, we talked about this last month, the Planning Commission Park Plan, just in case there was any questions to be asked.
Sure.
So that's new business, so.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's new business that is actually old business.
Yeah,
but
yeah, true.
It's so as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow evening at the planning commission meeting is the public hearing for the park system plan.
Okay.
And essentially, anytime you have a document that is officially adopted and added to our comprehensive plan, you have to have public hearings for it. And there's a process for adopting that. And so this is the next stage, a public hearing so that the public has been notified that this is something the city is considering adopting, and the plans are available for people to review them. And that meeting tomorrow night will be the opportunity for public comments. I don't expect a ton of public comments. We don't typically have, usually the people we have who come to planning commission meetings are people who are against a specific application. And we don't typically have a lot of comments on general legislative changes. However, that doesn't mean we're not. It just means I don't expect it. And I've been wrong before. So, but it's always good to have, whenever you have something being considered by either the planning commission or the city council, it's always good to have people who are in favor of it speak to why they're in favor of it and the process, et cetera. So if any of you are available to come and speak in favor of the park system plan at tomorrow evening's planning commission meeting, that would be appreciated. I think you have an important perspective on the plan. And then after tomorrow night, the next step for that plan is a public hearing in front of the city council, which we are planning for the October 8th city council meeting,
October 8th.
right? October 8th?
Yeah. I have it down.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that one, if you were to pick between tomorrow night and October 8th, I would recommend October 8th because I think that the city council needs to hear from you more than the planning commission does.
I think last month we just said in case there was any questions to ask.
Okay.
Or Dave could report for us.
What time is that meeting tomorrow?
The meeting tomorrow night is at 6:30
In here.
in this room, and the same time for the city council meeting on October 8th.
So 6:30. Folks, I do think it's important to have us at the city council, which is the finalization of the plan and formal adoption. I think that would be important.
Yeah, the planning commission, they recommend to the
Yep.
City
Yep.
council. So when their approval is technically a recommendation, and then the city council has the final vote.
Okay.
So
Having said that, I think I can also be here tomorrow night and say a few
Right.
positive words because it helps.
Mhm.
And I'll text Wally and see. I think he was planning on it too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had.
Okay.
Wear your jacket or your shirt.
Not yours.
I've heard bad things.
No, it's bleach.
Okay, we good on that topic?
Yeah.
And all those documents are on the city website online. And okay. All right. Moving on to roundtable. Any items? I had two that I put out there.
Cool.
Deb, do you have any items for roundtable?
Well, yes, I do. I took pictures of Johnson Creek coming into Sankey off of 16th and First Street and sent them to Wally, but he's not there today, so it's just plugged up. And
Plugged
I really
up
can't
with-
show you the pictures I have. I tried with my phone here to show them to you, but
Plugged up
It's
with
just-
what?
muck and debris that comes down from Johnson Creek. Let me see if I can show you guys.
So it might be a private landowner issue, but if you send the pictures to me, then I can get them to
Okay.
like Greg and Dominic and they can
I'll do
be
that.
evaluated. So send those to me.
Okay. Can't see. I don't have my thing on. Yes, Greg.
Also, Deborah, just for general knowledge, you don't have to wait to the meetings. If you see things, you can call into Public Works and say, hey, I spotted this, or, dead animal or rabbit. I'm just saying, whatever those things, we don't have to wait to a meeting to make it a formal, right? If there's
Oh.
things outside that need attention, whether it's storm drains, sewer, streets, parks, water, just feel free to call in. You don't have to wait
Okay.
to a formal meeting.
Thank you.
And we could probably get on it a lot quicker too.
All right. Sounds good.
So the only roundtable I have is what's this for?
I was going to bring that
Oh,
up.
okay, sorry.
So I've got two things. First thing is summer and our new trees. Summer was harsh. It didn't seem that harsh to me, but something was going on that made it pretty harsh. And I think it was, we had such nice weather, moisture in May and June, and then it just like that, boom, it was 100 degrees there in early July. So the new dogwood we planted for Molly at Sankey is really, really scorched. And so
It's looking a lot
Sean,
better.
well, they up the water on it. Sean, knows about these, so we'll just kind of watch it and we'll take a hard look at it as it goes into fall. The other scorch I've seen a lot of scorch on the leaves. And when I mean scorch, if you think in June, everything was just, the temperature was right, moisture is right, everything's lush and green, and then you throw 100-degree heat wave on it for 4 or 5 days, whatever we had, some of that tender stuff, foliage just gets scorched. And so our elms at the North Side Dog Park have a little bit of issue. Sean and I are trying to find a day to meet and kind of do some strategic pruning on those. The shaded leaves are fine. Some of the top pieces are having some issues. They up the water on those as well. And then evergreen, now those trees will be in the ground. This will be their third summer. And some of those got scorched as well. And the guys up the water system there. So what I'm saying is it's hard times to get trees started sometimes, especially, we're planting our Arbor Day trees in April. So if we're doing replacement trees that we don't want to have a big celebration, we just need to replace some trees, which we have a list of some of those we need to do. I'm going to suggest we do them around December, January, in just the heart of rainy season. But just wanted folks to know I've been watching our trees. In June, I was like, oh, everything looks great. And I go back into July and I'm like, what happened? Yeah, tough business. But we're
I
keeping
too
an
have
eye.
been watering Grandma's tree.
Yeah, the parks guys, Sean and crew, they've actually upped the sprinkler system and they've been hand watering it.
Excellent. I've been hand watering it some too.
And you were too. So,
Yeah.
so if we're on the downhill slope now, getting some more moisture and cooler temperatures. So,
Excellent.
yep. Okay, second thing, and I know I've talked about this before, it's emerald ash borer, which is an invasive insect that attacks the native
Yeah.
ash trees as well as our ornamental ash trees. And it started up there in Washington County, and now they're finding it in Marion and Clackamas. So it's knocking at our door. And it's probably inevitable that it will just move through the ash trees in Oregon. We can try to slow the spread of it by being vigilant and kind of trying to catch it when we see it invading its host trees. But beyond that, there's not a lot we can do. Having said that, we did invest in a couple ornamental ash by the post office years ago. Some of those nice street trees, there are ash trees there. We have one really big, nice ornamental ash at Northside. And so those are ones periodically I go through and I just kind of take a look because the D-shaped holes are the clue that you've got an invasion. And there's pictures of them in the handout here. You can treat the trees with pesticide, but once you think about that, depending on how many trees you want to try to save, that's a costly project. So the biggest thing for us is we're just not going to plant ornamental ash trees anymore. I don't know what this means for the Hobart Natural Area, which is an oak and ash, native ash swale. So, we'll just kind of have to watch. Those of you that live by Hobart, you might keep an eye out.
Yes.
All right.
Nancy and Blair. So I just want folks to be aware. And Greg, I think I gave the guy, is he still here? I gave the guys at the park some info on this, but
Good, because I forwarded it to
good,
them also.
good,
So I
good,
wasn't
yeah.
sure if you had. I didn't talk to you about that, so I sent it all
oh,
to them.
perfect. Because this, I mean, really, the interesting thing about it, it's the exit holes on the tree.
Mhm.
They're like a upside down D. I mean, they fit the head of the bug. So those are kind of the real clue.
Is there any survival of the trees at all?
No.
This kills them no matter what.
Yeah. It's kind of a slow death because they girdle the cambium layer. So when you see the picture in here with the bark peeled back and all the galleries, and so once it girdles that cambium layer, which is where water flows up and down the tree, then the tree basically it kind of desiccates. They wreaked havoc on the East Coast. And so it's just kind of a bummer that they made it out west. So I think the big thing is to be just kind of be aware and watch. We don't have a lot of ornamental ash trees. There's a couple I see here and there, that are private trees, yard trees and stuff. But in terms of things that we've planted as public park trees or street trees, we don't have a lot. So anyway, just wanted to kind of let you know it's knocking on our door.
Then they have to be cut down.
They're going to die. So, and if we see them, then the biggest thing we could do, and if it's early enough, we can try the pesticide treatment if it's a tree we want to save. But we do have to let Department of Ag and the Invasive Species Hotline let them know. Because what they'll come out and do is kind of come out and do a survey and kind of figure out extent of the spread. Plus, they're trying to track it through the state. So that's probably the bigger issue is just where is the insect moving towards? And, it's not going to be so active as we're going into winter, but spring is probably a good time to go out and check everything. They will also feed on olive trees. And there's one other species, and I can't remember what it is called. It's an ornamental, but I know some folks have olive trees. So, yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because it will change the look of our native oak ash swales when you think of, the wetlands in the valley. So, good to see you.
All right.
And that's all I had for
So
new
the
things.
only thing I want to ask, and I know I've brought this up before. So at the end of Foothills and 27th is that little land that nobody claims. But would we from the city, would we get in trouble if Ashley, there's other neighbors that will go in there and trim it down?
You wouldn't get in trouble from the city
Okay,
because it's not city property.
right.
But you are trespassing.
But you're technically, we've
That's
talked with,
dangerous.
I think our code compliance guy in the past has talked with an owner. The way that at one point that was owned by a
It
realtor
was, sure.
and then passed on to somebody else. As far as I am aware, and the last time I looked it up, it looked like the taxes hadn't been paid on it. And so it was likely to be lost to foreclosure anyway, which honestly, if I'm a businessman and I own that property, I'm not paying taxes on it because I
Right.
just as soon lose it because it doesn't give me anything.
So if
It's
they
not-
lose,
it's-
it, then the city gains it.
So if that's the question. It would typically, when the county gains a property from foreclosure, the county auctions things off, and usually those properties have some value. In this case, it's a property that has no buildable value at all. It has value to stay as it is, and it pretty much has to stay as it is. There's no way the city's approving any building permit to do anything else with it. And so who's going to bid on it? Probably nobody. So it'll end up being county owned eventually. The county will probably ask the city to take it on, and depending on who's in charge at that point, whether the city is willing to take on the property or not, I don't know. I think it has potential as a little parklet.
It does.
But again, it requires maintenance,
Right.
right? And we don't have the staff to add to more park maintenance. So that's the big concern that we have. Now, if the neighbors are wanting to do something, I have a hard time seeing, I'm certainly not recommending anybody trespass on the property, but everybody already does. They put a little bridge on there.
Right.
There's a path that goes from the sidewalk into there. And so whoever owns that property has already invited people on just by putting that bridge in and that path. I don't think the owner is likely to get upset about anybody maintaining it because
Do you guys
they
know who
already
the
have
owner
shown that
is?
they don't care about it.
Do you know who the owner is? I mean, I'd be willing to call them.
So
We just want to
the
make it safe where the kids are always over there.
right, the county records we have don't typically have phone numbers. But
They have addresses.
let's see, the assessor, and this is all public information you can look up.
Okay.
The assessor, county assessor's office says that the owner is Hirsch Holdings LLC, HERSHE Holdings LLC, care of Richard S. Herndon, and there's an Albany address, and that's all public record. So
What's his last name? Richard who?
Herndon,
Okay.
HERNDON. So, I mean, certainly, if neighbors want to contact that person, when we have subdivisions come to us now, where there is a parcel like this, because that parcel was necessary for storm drainage for that neighborhood. When we have subdivision applications come to us now, they are required to have a homeowners association that takes those properties on. The one that comes to mind is Duck Hollow back here. They have some wetlands and other things. And their homeowners association actually tried to get rid of those at one point, but they couldn't because the city wasn't willing to take them on. Somebody has to own them. And so the HOA is left with them. One alternative that some developers have proposed is to incorporate those kinds of improvements in a residential lot so that it's on the same property as a house. And then that homeowner would have to maintain it. The city's goal is that the neighborhood be developed in a way that is, handles stormwater properly and everything, and that doesn't add to the city's burden. And so either an HOA or a homeowner taking it on would be great. If the neighboring homeowner was willing to do a property line adjustment and take over that property, that'd be ideal. Or if there was a neighborhood group that wanted to do something, that's certainly a possibility as well.
I mean, I can go around the neighborhood and, and ask, but also the subdivision right behind there has been approved now by the planning commission.
mhm.
So it's going to be right there.
Well, that subdivision though won't be feeding in, it won't impact that property. So the big question is what does the neighborhood want out of it? And if the neighborhood wants to have a little parklet, that's great. It's just, it's not gonna, I don't think the city has capacity to take on the maintenance.
Thank you. I won't go mow it down then.
One more question.
You can if you want.
I want to ask you, we haven't seen this guy in our area yet, right?
Has not been, it's close. It has not been discovered in Lynn County that I know of. Last report was Clatskanie and Marion. So
How do they travel? Do you know? Or do they fly?
they fly, but the biggest thing is they get transported. So think
Yeah.
firewood. You know, we hear about transporting, you know, firewood is kind of burn it where you get it type of thing.
Sure.
Don't cut your firewood here and go over and have a campfire in Prineville. I mean,
Right.
or vice versa. It's kind of keep your firewood local. How they got here originally, because they came from Asia, is most likely packing materials in the whole shipping industry,
Hmm.
which so many invasive species, insects come through. When you think
Yeah.
about the murder hornet up in Washington a few years ago. Yeah, shipping, imports.
Hmm.
Gypsy moth's another one, you know,
Right.
just things that are small that can either through egg sacs or insects hiding in materials and travel the world.
The freeway.
Okay. Deborah, anything for the group?
Yes, I need to know what Public Works phone number is because I called the 367-6977. I don't know if it's my phone connection or what, but it told me it's no longer in service.
All right. Somebody find the
Anybody
Greg
off the top
sounds
of their head know what it is?
Greg looks like he's.
Adam's getting it.
I don't know about.
I
our
want to
phone.
say 6359.
6359? I have that
Yes,
number.
wanna-
it is 367-6359.
Okay, I'll cross out the 6977.
Never even heard of that number.
Okay, well, that's what it said when I went online and asked, but here we are. Get it from the horse's mouth, we'll know. Thanks, guys.
All right. All right. Anything else? So we got a lot of stuff happening. We've got some time with the beautification committee if they can use our help next week. We've got Harvest
What day
Fair
is
coming
that?
up
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Tuesday
September
was the
the
beautification committee.
The
8:30
24th.
8:30.
8:30.
on Key Bank.
Yeah. Yeah. So come help. It's kind of cleaning up the medians, evaluate our evergreen plants out there and kind of put everything to bed for winter.
Ashley, do they usually have vests for everybody that shows up? Okay.
And then our big event is Harvest Fair in like 3 Saturdays from now, I believe.
We don't talk about it out loud, and we don't talk about the weather.
Oh, the weather's going to be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, who's gonna play Wally this time and,
Yeah.
and tell us exactly what? the
I don't
weather's
know
gonna
what
be?
his magic weather.
I just
upset
need to
he
la
is.
la la.
Yeah.
I don't listen till the weather until the morning of.
I'm saying my prediction is overcast but no rain in the morning
Okay.
with sun in the afternoon.
All right.
My prediction.
High of 74.
High of 74.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be
bring it on.
perfect.
It's going to be like last year. Last year was beautiful.
I'll do you one better. It's gonna
Yeah.
be 72.
Oh,
That is
goodness.
better.
All right.
Hey, Deborah, real quick.
Yes.
If you still have your pen handy, we also
do.
have a non-emergency number. So if you have to call something in outside of business hours,
Okay,
that phone number is 541-367-5181.
uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I know that. I mean, that's
that's
just-
for
That's actually
That's-
dispatch,
that's
but
dispatch.
they will get the number to Public Works. They will get the Public
Oh,
Works
Yep.
I was gonna say, I
contact.
know that
Out.
number's familiar to me.
Yep, outside of business hours, that's who you call.
Okay,
All right. So we also
Thank
need
you.
it. We need a push for young pie bakers
Mhm.
in
Yep.
the children's category. What was the age? Under 18?
Yes.
Under 18. Matthew?
I've got a couple cans.
We have, I think,
There was like,
6 or
6.
7.
more is always great.
Yeah, we love more.
Angela, do you have
You gonna make one?
flyers for that? Cause I can give them to the charter school tomorrow.
I don't have them that say youth, but I can print you off the ads that I created.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And then I can, yeah.
All right. Any
And
other
then tomorrow
topics?
night,
Tomorrow night, don't forget tomorrow night. And then don't forget another couple weeks, city council, which I think is probably the bigger one. We should show up. All right, going. Gone,
See
we
you
are
later.
adjourned.
All right.
Glad you got to see me for a minute.
Go.
I'm glad I got
You
to see you
too.
too.
Buy bonds, they're cheap.
Bye-bye.
What do you-
Bye.
What do you go for?